Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Monday version of the Glory Hunters podcast. We're going over a lot of stuff. There are plenty of finals, plenty of things to talk about. We're gearing up for a huge transfer summer. And I got Junior Glory Hunter, a Megaboo. He's from Scotland, and he's got some insights, some things to say about the biggest stories. And, of course, Glory Hunter Nick, who's my partner regularly every week. Again, we'll be going over the finals. A lot of the biggest stories going on this week. It does seem to be a little bit of a lull, but we are entering Euros territory. This summer is going to be completely insane. Just because your season is over for your league doesn't mean it's just not starting to warm up. So I'll open this up, gentlemen, by probably the biggest announcement in the last 48 hours is the retirement of one Real Madrid and Germany's favorite son, Toni Kroos. Nick, where do you rate Kroos as far as Real Madrid players and just a German national?
Well, for Real Madrid players, high on the list. I'm not sure exactly where, but he's given so many years of top level football for that club. He's won so much with them. As far as Germany goes, I think he makes my top 5 for German players of all time. Personally, I think.
Toni Kroos.
When you look at it, you've got the likes of like Lothar Matthäus, Gerd Müller, Manuel Neuer, and Franz Beckenbauer. And then I think Toni Kroos is up there with those 4 for me. I think he's been playing at such a world-class level for so long. Part of one of the best midfields that we've seen ever with Modric and Casemiro at Real Madrid. So a huge loss for both club and country because, one of the best players of this past generation, easily.
And Toni Kroos will be retiring after the Euro, so he's getting one more seat to the German National League. Megabo, what are your memories of Toni Kroos, and how do you feel about his career now that he's finishing?
Toni Kroos, it's like my memories like from watching like Germany and stuff like that, and he just seems to make them tick. And I know Germany's obviously had their times where it's been a bit rough and stuff, but I remember that free kick he scored. Although they didn't make it out the group, it was just like he's just different class, and it's just he's like that engine. And a lot of people go unnoticed about this engine thing. He's just got it. He's here, there, everywhere. Picks a great pass. What a player he was. I totally agree with Nick. He's probably one of the best they've had.
He's one of the last players that's still active on the 2014 team, if I'm not mistaken. I know Thomas Muller, Ozil's retired. I think he's one of the last, and Emmanuel Neuer. I think that he's one of the biggies. I'm a little surprised being in Germany. I guess the Germans don't like to overreact. They're not the Spanish. They're not the Italians. They hide their emotions. But I was. It's more of a congratulations, not much of a surprise that he's great. He is 37 years old, and it's
34.
Time to go. Oh, 34. Excuse me. 34 years old. All right. Are any of you a little surprised that he's not doing an MLS tour? He's not doing that 2-year tour or something, or getting a little more cash in the Saudi market, which I'm sure he could easily go to at 34. Does that surprise you at all?
It doesn't surprise me, purely for the fact he actually said this many years ago that he was going to retire at this point. When he signed his new, when he signed the contract extension for 5 years, I think it was, or something like that, he actually came out and said at the end of his Real Madrid contract, he's going to retire. So I think it's quite cool that he's actually a man of his word. He's got to this point and he's standing by that. He's retiring. He said he always wanted to retire at the top. He didn't want to go so far past 30 that he got to a point where he was declining to a point where he wasn't very good anymore. He said he never wanted to reach that point. He just wanted to retire before he wasn't good anymore. And so it is quite cool that that's exactly what he's done. He said 5-6 years ago he was going to do this, and he stood by that.
I also noticed there's kind of a certain I think to go to a place like MLS, you have to kind of dig America. It's got to be, I always wanted to go to America. I got that feeling from Bastian Schweinsteiger and a lot of other, because you got to kind of think America's cool. If you don't feel that way or you don't have that attachment, I'm not saying they're anti-American. I'm not suggesting that. It does, for a player of Kroos's caliber, it's probably very difficult to do sort of that that retirement tour. But Messi doesn't seem to be having a problem with it. He's the greatest player of all time. Anything left on Kroos, Megabo?
Well, as you said there, just going through his career and stuff like that, obviously it's from East Germany kind of thing. Like a lot of these guys sometimes go back to like their childhood clubs,
Mm.
maybe just to play like a season or something like that. And
Yeah,
like you say, some people
I
might
don't
go
mind that.
MLS or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool, it's brilliant. It's like a homecoming almost, and it's great. But I think it's just about time. It's won everything. Why not finish on the Champions League final? It just caps it all off. It's like, what more can you really ask for, to be honest? Why? I mean, we've seen it with players like going places after they've retired and things haven't worked out. Maybe he wants to
True.
keep that as a legacy. Just
Rafa
end it all on a
Marquez
high.
comes to mind. He did the MLS tour, and he probably did it a little too early. He says it was the worst move of his career. Other guys have said it was just nothing but fun, and really enjoyed it. So I guess one of the things that I always liked about Toni Kroos, and this is going to be really controversial because he's the subject of me in this memes, he was never afraid to speak out and stick his neck out. And when Mitzi Ozil said, which is just completely impossible for me to believe, living in Germany, that he was received some kind of bigotry, and considering there's a Turkish captain of the team now, Kroos was the first guy to come out and say, that's a hunk of horse shit. And I can back that up, at least from the media perspective and the general feeling of the German people, that Ozil was loved and appreciated. I think, Ozil's hanging around a quasi-dictator in Turkey and promoting him is what lost his reputation with the German people, not any kind of bigotry that Germans felt before him. And Toni Kroos actually stuck his neck out. And we've seen the meme before. Toni Kroos will never get by the allegation. And I think, I think there's a little bigotry behind that as well, because let's be honest, Mr. Kroos looks a lot like the German stereotype. And those that negative stereotype. But I always appreciate the fact that he stuck his neck out and never bitched about the backlash and the teasing that he got afterwards. He just kind of went on. He said what he had to say and go, and that's the kind of guy I like. All the best to Toni Kroos. It was really cute to see, his kids wearing the number 8 in the field, and it couldn't be easy. You see a picture of him here staring into that crowd. You, me, nobody has any idea what that could possibly be like. The emotions that it'll probably drag up. It's got to be the fact that he didn't cry. He says, "I'm German, I don't cry." But I think a lot of guys pretty tough guys would have got pretty torn up. All the best to Toni Kroos, and let's go to some of our other stories. We're going to be talking a lot about the finals that happened. I picked Celtic Rangers final this year. For some strange reason, they decided to play it right up against the FA Cup. They usually have it on a Sunday, the Scottish Cup final, and it was Old Firm. But honestly, the more interesting of all the finals this weekend had to be the FA Cup final, which was kind of looking like it was going to be the most boring one, because, and one of the reasons I didn't know what was going to happen with Celtic Rangers. I did think Rangers had a chance. I thought that United had no chance whatsoever at all. And that turned out to be a much more interesting game. Now we've been hearing rumors that Ten Hag is, and I think it's the best for everybody that he leaves. Nick, what does that say about City kind of dropping this? They almost pulled a double, and now United finds himself in Europe when they finished outside of Europe. By winning this from what I understand, this gets them in the Europa League. What does this say about City, and what does that say about not so much Ten Hag but United? Is there still something salvageable there? Because that's a very big trophy to win on a very bad year.
Yeah, I think it just speaks to the talent that is in that United squad. I think everyone has to admit they do certainly have some talented players in there. It's not 11 players of absolute crap over there. And again, I think Ten Hag certainly got that final perfectly right, which shows, he's not this terrible coach himself either. Like, I think United's situation does get overblown a bit with how things are, because obviously the expectations are always higher than what they're reaching. So it's made out to be as if it's like some absolute disaster going on over there, rather than necessarily just they're in a bad position. But I think, it speaks to we spoke on the stream the other day about City having their big party after winning the Premier League before this, whereas United didn't, and how maybe that could play a part in how they performed, because City really didn't look at the races at all in that game. You know, they were giving up so much space at the back where normally they would like be really on it, and players like Kevin De Bruyne had really poor games going forward, whereas United looked a lot sharper in that game. So maybe it was part of that creeping in there that United had just prepared a lot better for that final.
Magaboo, do you think that we mentioned the party thing before? I think one of the worst things you can do is think it's over. And I got the feeling that United didn't think that, and I get the feeling that maybe a Leverkusen and a Man City did think it was over. How much do you think that played a role? Can you celebrate too early, in your opinion?
I kind of disagree. I think these guys are professional. I mean, the steam train that is Man City, I think it was just an off day, and Man United just reaped their rewards for the very few mistakes Manchester City made.
Do you think there's any credence? Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't finished. No, finish up.
I think well, that's basically what I think it's just an off day. Not to discredit Man United, it's brilliant they went out there, won the cup, give the fans something to cheer about because it's been torrid this year. But hey, they've done. I mean, it's just like the third result in the FA Cup that's been like total blowing people's minds with the Liverpool late win, the Coventry scare, and then this one. Like, what a campaign!
Do you think there's any truth, though, to the fact that when you do party, you celebrate, mentally you think it's over? And that kind of creeps in. I know in the NHL there's a tradition not to carry, touch, or celebrate the cup that you win when you win the Eastern and Western Conference Final. I've often wondered if it's not there's no curse, but mentally when you pick up that cup, not the one you want, but the one you just won. The mission is for the Stanley Cup. That you sort of mentally have said, okay, we've mission accomplished. Do you think there's any possibility that that's the case? Because I really got to wonder if that didn't happen to Leverkusen as well.
It's possible. It is possible, but I'm of the thought that like these guys are professional kind of thing. There is such thing as like having like that hangover. It's like, see, when you go in Europe, you beat a massive team.
They're also kids, Megaboo. At the end of the day,
yeah,
they're kids.
I understand,
yeah.
but you think Pep Guardiola's going to let them go? Yeah, you can have an extra.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can have an extra. So it's I mean, these guys are not like they aren't like say, amateur teams and stuff. I think these guys have been told, right, by the way, it's not over yet. You guys have got FA Cup, and then half these guys are with the Euros, so they're just looking at everything right now. So
sure,
I'm not going to do that. I think it's just off day for Manchester City. Very few off days they have, and Man United reap rewards, and well done, Man United.
Sure, very well. We'll leave it at that. Oh boy, no alert! My man Faz on the job. Cantona. How do you say he's got Cantona? Antonio Canto? Was that his name?
Conte.
I know Conte. I know him from getting in a fight with because I just got back into football, but I know him from getting in a fight with Thomas Tuchel at the beginning of the 2022. I think he was he coaching Leeds at the time? I'm trying to remember.
He was Tottenham Hotspur coach.
It was the Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
And Chelsea, yeah. It looks like he's going back to Italy, and it looks like he's going to take Napoli. How do you feel about this? I know you're a big fan, Nick.
Well, I don't know about big fan, but he is a good coach, in fairness to the man. Yeah. Like, he's had success everywhere apart from Tottenham Hotspur, which, I mean, no one has success at Tottenham Hotspur, so how much can you really judge by that? You know, his last foray in Italy, he won the title with Inter Milan. You know, he was the man who turned fortunes around at Juventus and had them winning. He kicked off their big win streak in Italy. He won the title with Chelsea in his first season there. He had Italy sort of punching above their weight at Euro 2016 as well. So he's certainly a fantastic coach, and Napoli have an awful season. They had the worst title defence in Serie A history, finishing at 10th this year, which was fully deserved because of their awful managerial decisions. But the biggest issue with this for me is Antonio Conte is known for being a very strong, argumentative personality. It's why things blew up at Chelsea. Him and the ownership fell out. A similar thing happened at Tottenham Hotspur. You saw how miserable he was in his presses towards the end there, just complaining about signings and like how they're missing, like not signing up all the players that they need to succeed. And so he's going in at Napoli, who are very well known for De Laurentiis, their owner, being a stingy bastard when it comes to transfers and getting in arguments with coaches because he has his way, and they're like, oh, we need to sign these players. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. We're doing it. I'll sign the players. You just do your coaching job. So to see Antonio Conte step into that as a coach who argues with the ownership a lot, into the most argumentative owner in football, is it's going to be hilarious when this whole thing explodes.
Do you have any comment on this Mega Boo? Anything, Dad?
Just a mad bastard doing that mad bastard supporting the club. I love it.
I want the entertainment. I'm with you. I want him yelling at
that's
the
what
media. I'm glad he's going to a place where he probably shouldn't go. Yeah,
Here we go. I mean, going from saying, this is a loser club to Tottenham, which that hurt me. But but going from that and then just turning up in Napoli, I'm like, you know what? Perfect. What an appointment.
All right.
Great.
Hey, listen, at the end of the day, this sport's about entertainment, and hopefully it sounds like he's with the right people to give us entertainment. So
I have to say a good picture. Good picture by Fabrizio there.
Oh, yeah.
This encapsulates how mad.
Yeah, I remember that thing. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add just one thing, though. There is the possibility that he does win the title in his first season before it all goes to shit, to be fair, because he is a good coach. They've got a talented squad. It's easy to see. He comes in, wins the title first year, doesn't get the signings he wants to keep the team up there for the second season, and then it all just capitulates from there.
Do they still have a squad in place to be able to win the league?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. All right, fair enough.
You've still got Victor Osimhen there, who might leave, but still one of the best strikers in the league. Kvaradonna's still there, arguably the best player in the league in my eyes. They didn't really lose a lot of players from their title-winning season. It was only really Kim Min-jae that left. It was just terrible managerial decision after terrible managerial decision sort of dragged the whole team down.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on. This is going to be a little bit of a repeat of what we talked about before. Bayern Leverkusen, they finished the double. Probably should have had the triple, losing to Atalanta, but not having the same problem with Kaiserslautern, even taking a red card. I would say, was it only 20, 30 minutes into the first half? Look, Kaiserslautern has the heart. They got a great goalkeeper. They don't have the quality up front to break through that defensive midfield, and much less their backs, which I mean, guys like Tall and are very tough to break. Any good team have trouble breaking through. They just simply didn't have those type of players to do it. I will say this. I don't know if you guys watched the match. I was not impressed with Leverkusen. They definitely have taken a step back. And again, I do wonder if it was an exhaustion, if not, when they won the Bundesliga, did it mentally feel like it's over? A Mega Boo. I know they're professionals. Is there any chance that these guys took their eye off the ball after winning so much and saving themselves so many times, that this very disappointing finish, I still feel like Leverkusen could beat Atalanta 9 times out of 10, or is just exhaustion in your opinion? What happened to Leverkusen?
Well, obviously that took everybody by shock, because I think not a lot of people. I think Nick obviously took a lot of notes on Atalanta and how they've been playing, but everybody's kind of looking at Leverkusen, looking at this unbelievable run of fixtures, not losing a game, kind of thing. And again, it could be just one of them ones, just like he got figured out, and then they got caught. They left Lookman by himself. They gave him the entire wing to do what he had to do and put in the back of the net, which you're going to give anyone in a final that sort of space, you're going to lose. But I don't think it's a failure all in all.
No, I don't think it's failure. I'm not saying that either, but I just say it's a disappointment because they came so close. They lost one game in all competitions and so close to a perfect season. I don't want to take anything away from them. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. No, that's been season in the slightest. Probably the best season they've ever had, and obviously winning the poker at the end. Although not expecting like a 93rd minute winner and all that sort of thing. That kind of like, I think we're all kind of looking for that sort of thing. And then obviously
We got
a wee
used
bit
to
of
it.
drama, but then it
Mm.
was just one of them. At least they finished, and you know what? The two's better than nothing. I
Sure,
mean, like,
absolutely.
all credit to them. What a team.
Is it possible that I know you followed Atalanta probably more than all of us. Is this an underrated team that's we have to look out for the future, or do they just catch fire against a really good team that would have maybe had an off night when it comes to Atlanta?
Well, they've got some very talented players. Atalanta have sort of been like the hype around them's quieting down a little bit recently, but Atalanta for the past like 10 years now have been a serious threat in Serie A as this attacking, exciting side under Gasperini. You know, they've had a lot of great players come through. They're like Alejandro Gomez and Muriel, who's just joined Orlando. He had some really hot years for them, and Josip Ilicic, and now they've got the likes of Scamacca, who's absolutely firing and should really start for Italy at the Euros. And so I guess they're underrated in the sense that they had a lot of hype a few years ago when they had the bigger names, and it sort of died down, and everyone sort of like forgot about them a little bit. And this has really reignited the hype in Atalanta. So underrated in that aspect, but I don't know. They always fall short. They've sort of been bottlers under Gasperini. So for them to finally win the Europa League, and maybe they can do more in Serie A next season. Now that they've got that win under their belt, I know Gasperini has come out and said he wants to make some signings to try and win the Super Cup against whoever wins this Champions League final. So that'll be interesting to see.
All right, that's what I was kind of wondering. I'm still not. I still wish they would have won it, but still a great season. They can't really take anything, and I think they're going to be. I'm going to say right now, Leverkusen will finish up in the top half of next year's Champions League competition. So I'll call it right there, right then. Another champion. Glasgow Celtic. Not as big a surprise, but I did think that Rangers actually did have a chance. There was a point where they had a little bit of a shot at league. Let's take it to the Scotsman. You know, they finished this game 1-0, capitalized on a Rangers mistake. Were Rangers ever could they ever have won this in any, or is just Celtic too stacked in your opinion, Megaboo?
To be honest, that's the thing with Rangers. That although like Celtic's obviously won the league and all that sort of thing, I think anybody wins this game. But if you've seen the games obviously going through, they had that draw earlier on in the game, and even that last Old Firm they played in the league, that was 2-1. It was quite tense to the end kind of thing. But from what I can understand, Rangers had quite a few corners, quite a few shots, and that's the thing. They also had that goal that's disallowed, which has been highly contentious, especially up here. They're like, you know, there's probably going to be a statement coming out about that, no doubt, about what did the referee say, that sort of thing. But you can't relate this to the beauty of the Old Firm. It's like you could have someone who's running away with the league, and Rangers could just snatch it, or vice versa kind of thing. But ultimately it was like one mistake, and obviously the shot parried out and either just tucks it away kind of thing. Obviously you watched on stream. I just watched like the highlights. All in all, good campaign for Celtic. Tough luck for Rangers, but I think Philip Clement's got a plan for next season. I think there's going to be a few boys out the door, but he's going to get his own guys in. So look out for them next season.
So you think Rangers are going to make this league interesting next year? Because I'd like it to be interesting. I mean, as much as I like Celtic, I want a dogfight. And not that this wasn't a good game. This was an entertaining game. This was fast-paced, Premier League type of pace the whole game. And it just seems like all the old firms are like that, except Celtic always get the better of Rangers. In the end, it feels a lot like Leverkusen coming back in the 90th minute. It's just like a matter of time. But you do think you're gonna sign on to that?
I think we're just going to make an interesting league. Although I'm going to be this sort of way. See, I'm not a fan of the Old Firm at all. I like the other guys. I want the other teams, but this has been a thing we've been crying out for years. I want these guys to start because there's more European place, more money involved.
Yeah,
let's get these other teams like your Aberdeen, your Hearts, your Hibs. Get these guys challenging these guys. Let it be more interesting because, like, we're talking about the Italian league, how everybody's beating everybody, and the Championship, everybody's beating everybody. Let's make it like that. Although you're not going to catch up to them financially, but there's going to be some good players coming through, especially through Scotland. I can feel it. Give it another 5-10 years, you're going to see some absolute world-class players come through.
I hope
That's what my think is.
I hope so, but I also think you're going to have to see some very special coaches be able to deal with those. And it's possible. It's not impossible, but you're going to have to find a very special coach for a Hibs or a Hearts or something like that to be able to compete with these with the old firm. But in a way, I hope you're right, because I root for Scottish football every year. It's not always the easiest thing to watch. You're telling me the second league is a lot more fun, which I could totally believe. Totally believe. And that's it. Okay, one thing we didn't talk about, and I didn't put it in the thing, is we had. I found out this is the biggest money game. More money than the World Cup final, more money than the Champions League final. The promotion, the third place promotion for a relegation playoff, Southampton versus Leeds. Leeds manages not to make it up once again. This seems to be and even though they may have had a more talented team, but apparently this game is a big money game, and it actually turns into more revenue than any other game that you can win. You were telling me during the game that Leeds has some serious financial issues, that they absolutely needed to win this game to pay some debts. What happens to Leeds going forward, Nick?
Well, they're going to lose a lot of players, and that's for certain. They're going to be in a situation now where they're going to have to sort of sell all their stars to get money in and get wages off the books to sort of sort themselves out, because they obviously went down from the Premier League, and then they invested this summer fairly heavily for a Championship side in the hopes of making sure that they get back to the Premier League. Like, they sort of took the chance on that. Whereas teams often lose players, they kept most of their Premier League squad, which means they probably would have had a lot of those players still on Premier League wages, unless they managed to get them to sign to clauses when they joined that their wages would drop when they get relegated. And so this is a huge loss for Leeds, like seriously big. This is like such a big loss that we could easily see Leeds spend the next 5 years in the Championship because of it, because they're going to have to sell all of their talent to afford all of the issues they've now got financially, which means they're not really going to be able to reinvest a lot of it in signing good players, which then means they're sort of knocked out of promotion contention because of this.
I'm getting deja vu. Has this happened before? This happened at Leeds before, didn't it?
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah. I remember that happened. I hope it's not as bad as that, but
no, I hope so.
I think they're in a healthier situation. It's like a case of where they're basically forced to sell. I think they should be fine once they sell everyone, but they have to sell. It's not like they can afford to keep on most of their squad, like a lot of teams that make the playoff final normally do. Like Coventry only really lost 1 or 2 players from last year, and so on.
Megan, but did you check out the final?
I did. Final? Yeah, I watched it. I would have joined. I was just in the audience kind of thing of the Discord kind of thing, and again, it's as I was talking to Nick just before we came on. It's mad how the Championship, how close it was. It's
great game.
Literally, that whole top half, anyone can beat everyone, and it was just tension. Obviously, that one mistake, letting Armstrong that much room, that's what's going to happen. And yeah, well done to Southampton getting through. I hope it's not as bad for Leeds, but hey, Championship's a really fun league to watch. I'm going to pay more attention to it next season.
Yeah, I think I did. Paid more attention. I promised myself I'd pay more attention to Italy. I did, and then Inter ran away with it. I kind of wish I had picked the Championship, because it's it's bigger than a lot of first leagues around Europe and the rest of the world. It's an incredible, and it does have the atmosphere. Last year with Luton and Coventry, it does have the atmosphere, especially that playoff final, of just something grand, something big. It doesn't feel like, I don't know, like a German relegation playoff, which is you're only really into it. You're only really into it if your teams are involved. Whereas it has a Super Bowl almost atmosphere, for lack of a better word, in this playoff. So yeah, really good stuff, and there's the tickets are cheaper, I'm told. Let me move on to a game that I actually watched. Me and Biscuit covered this one. We did a live stream. Club America They actually play a two-legged final, which I don't agree with. But it was tied going on aggregate. It was I think it was a 2-2 or 1-1. I'm not quite sure, so it doesn't matter. Club America wins. They beat Cruz Azul 1-0. Very good game, very close. Had a lot of the same feel of the Coventry leads. You had one very deliberate short passing team versus a sort of run and gun with talent. But this time, unlike with Leeds, America came up big. Here's the strange thing, and I don't know how much you can comment on it because you guys haven't seen the game. There was a tackle inside the box, and both me and Biscuit had different takes as it happened in real time. I thought he got a piece of the ball, and Biscuit thought it was a clear penalty. After they showed us the angles, one of them was very clear. His toe pushed the ball out of the way. He even attempts to flatten his body so not to trip the oncoming player, but it was just completely impossible at that point. To me, that's a fair tackle. He made his best to get out of the way. It's not like he followed through and sort of finishes his check, for lack of a better word. And it took a little while to get the referee to the television. And what we found really strange, because you could see, and they did a really good job, exactly what the referee was saying. And he was shown several angles, except the one that me and Biscuit saw. Now, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorists here, and it could be something as simple as we saw a TV angle, and that TV angle is not available to VAR. Dem the breaks. Cruz Azul shouldn't have put themselves in a position in the first place to have to make a tackle like that in the box. Stuff happens. We did have a whole football culture and a successful professional league well before VAR. But I don't really see anybody talking about it. I have done some translations here. I guess what I want to lead into, there is some talk about taking VAR out of the Prem for reasons like this. It just, like, even when you have the technology, it doesn't seem to work. Is this a good example why VAR is just kind of worthless to you? Or Nick, or do we need VAR because it'll just create even more problems? All the problems that we really didn't like prior to VAR.
I don't think VAR is the issue at all. I think it's certainly it's not an argument as to why VAR doesn't need to exist. It's an argument for why we need more training and experience with VAR. Like if you buy like a new high-tech machinery for your business, but you don't know how to use it straight away, but it would make everything so much more efficient for you. You're not going to just chuck it out because you can't use it straight away because you need the training for it, right?
But the
whole point is you invest and bring this thing in knowing that it will make it better, but you just need to invest the time and the training to get good at using it because in the long term it's going to benefit you. And I think that's exactly what VAR is. It benefits the sport so much more by having it. The issues we're having is always user error. It's not like an error with the VAR. No one's saying, VAR got this wrong because the technology was it was a technological failure. It's always the decision from who was using the VAR is what messed it up, right?
Well, where is the Roy Kanes and Thierry Henrys and Gary Neville's? They just seem to want to scrap it. Where they always give the same excuse because it kills excitement. Yeah, that's true. You know what else kills excitement? Goals that don't count, and vice versa. Why is it that every week we see a Roy Kane and they always bitch about the people bitching about the incompetence of the people in the VAR room when they could just be talking about what you're talking about now and saying, hey, look, we're the only country on earth, including Scotland. Scotland seems to be okay with it too. You're not hearing a VAR conversation every Monday in Scotland. You're not seeing that in Germany or Spain or in Italy. It's only the United Kingdom. Or not even the United Kingdom. It's England. It's England. Like, nobody's talking about why can't we handle this and the rest of the planet doesn't seem to be a problem with South America, North America. Everybody seems to have no problem with this. Megaboo. Are you one of these anti-VAR guys? Or are you of the opinion that what did what's his Jose Mourinho said, thieves like places that don't have security cameras. Something along those.
Thieves complain about the addition of security cameras.
Yeah, thieves good. So, or like where are you on the VAR conversation? I do get the excitement part of it, but I really, really hate when these guys blow calls. And by the way, I want to talk about real quick when I was talking about Club America. That ref had an excellent game. If I saw those angles too, I would have called the penalty that led to the 1-0 victory. There's no doubt about it. But it did seem to be, although I can't get it because there's something lost in translation here. I would have called it too. There's something lost in translation. Nobody seems to be complaining about it. The media doesn't seem to be complaining about the right things, in my opinion. But back to you, Megabo. Where are you on the VAR conversation?
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with Nick. It's one of those things you should try and get used to. And as for these pundits, well, I'll try and see if you get this. So if you go into a bar and you get a cold beer, are you going to say, "Oh, that's a nice cold beer"?
Yeah.
No, you're not. It's supposed to be cold. If you get a warm beer, you're going to complain about it. You kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah. You're always going to get that sort of thing. Like, see if we took VAR out and then something happens, first game of the season, someone gets a handball but doesn't get called for, they're going to do the same thing. Why do we see this one? Referee's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. It's to get clicks. It's to get something. They need to talk about something. They can drop some sort of drama. They're just trying to get as much drama. Why do you think you got Chris Sutton sitting in the seat? He's a terrible pundit, but he just gets people talking because it infuriates people. And don't get me wrong, I love that it infuriates people. That's awesome. But like,
really just can't take these guys seriously.
It's getting really boring.
I think these guys complain about all the right things. They like if somebody gets screwed by VAR, they'll be mad at Jurgen Klopp. They'll be mad at Pep Guardiola for bitching about it. And the conversation is you shouldn't bitch about it. Well, if it's not working, what else do you do? And in fact, and they'll even say things like they're violating. You can get fined for this. You're violating. You're criticizing the referees. Why aren't you criticizing the referees? That's your job. You can't get fined for this. I don't understand why they just, it's almost like a lot of these guys, they check, where's the FA at this? We'll go with the FA. We'll go with the popular opinion, not do any kind of thinking outside the box. And it's criticize the coaches for complaint or criticize or tell the president of Forest that he has to step down because he's angry that he got screwed. That's my personal favorite, Gary Neville. I really I like VAR, and I think this is an example where VAR, and like I said, I don't know if maybe that wasn't that particular angle wasn't available to them. If that's the case, that's the breaks. But I don't understand why there is no criticism to get competent people and to learn the device, as Nick says. I don't understand that. Why is it? Well, why do we complain about people complaining about it? Go ahead.
So, back in the day, there used to be a lot more criticism of like referees' decisions, and it sort of bred this culture of like the referees were getting like a lot of abuse, and so they basically made an effort to sort of move away from blaming referees to stop like to try and like stem the amount of hate and abuse and stuff that referees were getting. But it's to the point now where they will literally not even criticize referees out of fear of,
that's what it is.
Like causing a pile-on the referee. Because like even now referees get a lot of abuse for the decisions they make.
Sure.
Even without the media bringing it up every single week. Oh, this guy did something wrong. Because you have the pundits talking about the referee got this wrong. Everyone watching all of a sudden thinks, oh yeah, the ref got that wrong, and they're gonna get pissed off about how the ref got that wrong. That I know that is like.
But I'm not even talking about criticizing. I get all that, and I agree with all of it. But I'm not talking about criticizing the ref. I'm criticizing why are we the only country on earth that can't handle this technology? Like that's a question. That's not even a criticism of an individual. They don't have to name the VAR assistant and put his name out there. They could say this is not working, rather than, hey, President from Forest, you need to step down because you're angry about getting screwed not once, not twice, but 3 times. That makes even less sense to me. And it also just seems like they're taking the safe road, which is something a lot of those guys do. Everybody played for United over there, and it's just really annoying, if you ask me.
I think the only thing I'd probably say is what they might want to work on is the subjective stuff, like handballs and stuff like that. But that's always been like a problem. Like those kind of, and like if you're deliberately trying to hurt someone, that's maybe one of the things I'd probably say is a bit more work on. But then as Nick said, you just need to get used to it. I mean, we've not had it for that long when you really think about it.
Oh
It
yeah.
just needs some more things ironed out. And these guys, they just don't take accountability.
Well, the
of
thing
things.
that
They
they
just try
don't,
and blame
the thing
everything
that
else.
chased me away from the game 10 years ago is, especially in Champions League, where the box became a pool. Everybody was diving to get that, especially if they were behind and needed to tie up the game. And VAR kind of solved that problem. And nobody's talking about that. They're just saying, "Oh, it's all right." You know, VAR got it wrong. Jurgen Klopp, you should be fined for complaining about it. It's God. Nobody. If their criticism, they have the megaphone. Their criticism could lead to positive changes to get VAR more efficient, like all the other European countries. That would be a lot more effective than just criticizing the people that are victims of the incompetence. It seems like that to me. Are you sick of this as I am? Kylian Mbappe reels when he will announce his next club. Who fucking cares? I know where you're going. You've made a big deal of this for 2 years. I don't know if this is Kylian Mbappe's fault, but I'm really sick of this story. I've seen it 100 different times this year. You're going to Real Madrid. You don't want to play over there. I get it. You acted like a big baby. You walked off and hung up with your mother, and I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of this diva. Yes, he probably is the best total football player on the planet. Go away. Go to Madrid. Please let me suffer less. Nick.
Yeah, I'm. Everyone's known for like 3 years now. He's going to Real Madrid. Even last time he signed his contract, everyone knew. Oh, he's going to Real Madrid. Then he signed a new contract. Oh, shocker! 2 years later, he's going to Real Madrid. It's kind of. It's just like, just get on with it, right?
God,
everyone knows. Like, what is the benefit to this? You're trying to make it a big deal when everyone knows. It's like. There's no hype behind this or suspense. It's not like, oh, where's Mbappe going to go? It's, he's going to Madrid. He will come out and have his big announcement. I'm going to Real Madrid, and everyone will be, we know. Okay.
I mean, look, I love Mbappe's talent. He's clutch. He's everything. He's got it all. But you know, I don't like, and I was kind of on his side when he got in his rift with you know, he doesn't have to resign. You know, he has under no, he can play where he wants to play, but he did act like a bit of a baby this year, and I don't know if that's going to be tolerated over there. And to be honest with you, I'm pulling for Dortmund, and I hope they lose every final going forward. I'm sick of them. Boo, you have anything to say about this?
It's just the big cycle. He's always the biggest name in football right now.
That's all it is.
I mean, they've done it with Messi, we've done it with Neymar, and you even go all the way back to like David Beckham. They've done all that sort of stuff.
That's all it is. I'm complaining about nothing. Is what you're saying? There's nothing you can do. I'm just futile.
In the nicest possible way, Tommy. Yeah,
I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. I'm saying wrong. You're right. All right, it is what it is. Kevin De Bruyne expected to sign in Manchester City despite 32-year-old representing holding meetings in clubs in Saudi Arabia. Also, rumors of MLS came up this year. Is this a surprise? Nick, is this a surprise that he's staying?
Not for me. I never. It was a bit of a surprise that he was thinking of leaving like so soon. To be honest, you know, he's still right near the top of his game. 32 years old. He's still got years left.
I think the only downside is he gets hurt.
Know.
He gets hurt more often than he used to. He seems to have some kind of nagging injury. You know, every few weeks and what have you. Surprise to you, Megaboo? Or you thought he was leaving?
It's one of those things going to come up, but again, he was injured for quite a bit this season, came back, and he was just as good as when he left, through injured kind of thing. So I can't see. I think he'll be there for as long as Pep's there. I think another 1 or 2 years, and then you might see him pop up somewhere else. Don't know about MLS, though. I'm not sure.
No, I heard it. I heard it. I don't know if he wants to go or not. All right, jersey rating time. This is the new one. I actually picked it up. Byron, this is a concept. I think this one would grow.
I think that was the original concept, and then the one on the left is what they ended up going with. I think.
All right, what's your rating out of 5 for the original for what came through? I actually like the concept better. I think I do. What's your rating?
I like the left one better, but I'm not totally sold on it, to be honest. I'm going to get a 3.
Yeah.
Oh, a 3. I was gonna say, well, I don't dislike it, but I was gonna say like 2.5, middle of the road, bang average.
What I don't know. That's what I said. 3.
I don't like it. I don't dislike it.
I'm getting
I don't know we're
three-
adding decimals.
4. I bought it. You know.
I wouldn't be against having it.
Yeah. Okay. Some memes. The Turkish season. What team is that? That's
Besiktas.
yeah. They got a trophy house, and Fenerbahce got a cup. Ooh, coffee warmer. Fenerbahce.
Poor guys. I think they're
You know
getting
what's
picked on
the
in that
most
league.
practical there?
Yeah, I guess so. We can't do shit with these other things. You definitely get some warm some coffee with that. More memes. I like. Oh, they had the Champions Cup loading. Oh, that's too funny. And I guess
Arda Güler was injured most of the season, so
so they're up for a
fair
treble.
enough.
If they complete a treble this year, Real Madrid, if they win this one against Dortmund this weekend, huh?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I don't know what. See, I don't know much about the Spanish league. I don't know if that's their. Is that the? Yeah, they won the
Yeah, the
league.
bottom one's Champions League.
Did they? No,
So-
they didn't win Copa del Rey. That was Bilbao, so it's not a true treble.
Yeah, Bilbao won the Del Rey, so
Super
that
Cup.
might be like
Super.
the Super Cup potentially.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Mason Greenwood, a sad story for me. A guy that has a really weird kink that his wife used against him to ruin his life and his career. He says goodbye to Getafe. They're talking about selling him this year to United's talking about selling him because there's too much baggage there. I know Ten Hag wanted to give him a shot. And apparently, did he play well over there? How did he do over at Getafe? Do you know?
He had a good season. Like he's a very talented player. He was like the next best thing for United. Like he was meant to be the guy coming through for them before everything that went down. And he's had a good season at Getafe. But
Should they keep him?
if you're Getafe, they probably do want to keep him. But he might have ambitions.
No, I
at a
mean
bigger club,
United.
to be
He's
fair.
he's going back. He's
United, I think it's too much of a PR disaster. I
Gotcha.
think there is a
Even
lot
though
of
he's innocent.
legitimate-
Even though he's innocent, this is an innocent man. This woman that accused him.
Innocent- He's legally innocent. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. He
There's still
married
a
the
lot of
he
questions
married the
over
girl.
it.
He had a baby with her.
I
People
don't
do
really know.
strange things in abusive relationships, so who knows whether it's.
I don't know. I just hope.
As outsiders, we don't know what the extent of it is, but yeah, as far as legally is concerned, he is innocent legally, and so I suppose he should be allowed to continue with his career. But if I'm United, I think you saw it last time. They wanted to keep him. There was so many protests.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Even though he didn't do
really
nothing.
worth it for them.
Unbelievable. Boo, you have any
they've
comment
kept
on it?
They've kept.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, they've kept Anthony on. Anthony, apparently, he's got that. He's got accusations and stuff, and I hope, like, don't get me wrong, I don't know the whole story behind Mason. I only know the start bit, and I'm like, I just thought everybody else kind of thought. I haven't really read too much into it. I just hope it doesn't ruin his career like it did. Because remember, there was a nice. Who's that other guy? Ched Evans. Do you know of him, Nick? Ched
Yeah,
Evans.
yeah.
He had his own
When
thing.
he
I
was
think.
accused of rape, and then he was cleared like 2 years later.
Yeah, and literally, he still to this day carries that around, and it's like people still, even though he's been cleared and stuff. And the guy, he was going to be a really good player. I don't know where he was, but ended up like, you're at a football for 2 years, you're sitting playing like
Yeah.
first and second league football. It's a shame.
Did Chet
Yeah, 'cause
Evans?
he was at Sheffield United, and then after he was cleared, they wanted to bring him back. But then Jessica Ennis, the runner, I know she's like she was or at least was a part owner of Sheffield United. She basically started a big campaign to make sure they didn't re-sign him.
That's really great.
because-
The accusations are what do they call that? Are the allegations are the evidence? Way to go for her. Chet Evans, you mentioned him. Did she just do an interview a couple months ago with? Oh, who's that English jackass that came to the States and told everybody to ban guns? What the hell is his name? Mr. Unsaid.
You
Piers
narrow it
Morgan.
down to-
Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
Yeah, Piers Morgan. Didn't he
I
do an
don't-
interview
I
with Chet
don't
Evans
know.
recently? I
I
saw
don't
that.
really know. I
It's
thought he
fat.
sort of faded away, to be honest. I
It's-
don't know how old the guy is now.
It's well, there's a guy here in Wiesbaden in 2019. He was accused and only cleared last year. This happens at all levels. Mason Greenwood, because of his talent with the clubs that he's associated with, this other guy is gone. Found innocent in a court of law. It really is. It really is something that happens, and it is even more amazing when these guys are cleared by the law that people still want to see them punished after the fact. Tragic. Rumors. Hate cover him, but I think this one's interesting. Kieran McKenna. We've been talking a lot about him with Ben over the bar guys that doing Glory Hunter content. I'm saying that Chelsea's no longer interested. Did you want McKenna?
No.
On Chelsea? No. And why is that?
I think he's too much like Pochettino stylistically. I think he's a good coach. He's certainly done a fantastic job for Ipswich. But whereas, like I spoke in the last podcast about Pochettino, where stylistically he didn't suit the squad of players that the ownership were building and the direction they were trying to go, I think McKenna's another one where he's a good coach. Pochettino is a good coach, but I think his style is more like Pochettino in like the transitional sort of focus, which again isn't what the Chelsea squad is being built for or the direction they want to go with. And the other coaches that have been linked, like Maresca and De Zerbi, make more sense for what Chelsea are going for. But I mean, I wouldn't have been totally against it if McKenna did end up at Chelsea, because he has done a phenomenal job for Ipswich so far, though.
What do you, Megaboo, how familiar you are with McKenna? Because I know some Ipswich fans not too happy about him even thinking about wanting to leave. Do you have any comment on that?
I don't know much about McKenna, unfortunately, but I find it quite strange. Like, you get promoted and like you leave the job.
I think that's weird too.
I never quite understand. I thought it was quite strange.
I was one of the few guys that said that Zabi should stay, and people were saying I was crazy. I don't understand it either. You're not going to lose that much value if you get promoted. You're still going to be judged by the promotion. And you're going to be able to get a job. Zabi has a bad year next year. He's going to be fine. There's going to be other teams that are going to want him. I don't understand why they have to move up. And it seems like, who's that coach? Graham Potter. He moved into Chelsea, got absolutely annihilated. He walked into a bad situation, but he went there because it was the big club. And where's Graham Potter right now? What's he up to?
Turned down Ajax and Leon.
Okay, not working. Not working.
He'll be back at Brighton. I'm calling it now. He'll be back at Brighton.
I don't know.
Yeah, here we go.
To be fair, I think it's unfair to compare Xabi staying at Leverkusen to McKenna staying at Ipswich, because at Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso has the team that he's just won the title with. He could easily go and win the title again next year and compete in the Champions League for something seriously. Ipswich are going to have to fight hard to stay in the league next season when the clubs that were in for McKenna, you've got Chelsea, who have one of the most exciting projects in the Premier League and have European football and are expected to be fighting for at least top 4 next season, should they not have a terrible year again. You got Manchester United again, just won the FA Cup. They're going to be in the Europa League, and they've got the budget behind them to push up into like the top 4 again next season, potentially, with signings. And then Brighton have one of the best scouting teams in the world and have they were in Europa League this season, finished outside the positions like this year, but with some signings and good coaching, they could easily be in a European place again. So it would literally be a step up for McKenna in all 3 of those situations. Whereas Xabi to Bayern, he's going to be aiming for the same things that he was doing at Leverkusen anyway.
Well, I mean, he probably could have went other places. I imagine they would want him back in Real. But
he's holding out for the Man City job.
Yeah, but
that being said, to get back to what Megaboo said, it does seem weird. You get promoted and you don't give it a shot. It does feel weird, very least. It might not be the best career move, but it just, as a fan, it just feels bizarre. Like, why don't you want to, you won this opportunity. Why wouldn't you want to take advantage of it? I don't know. I mean, that's the way.
Getting that job is taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can understand like Postecoglou wanting to move out of Celtic because there's literally nothing left to do there. He did a perfect job and he wanted to move up. Okay, that makes sense. But I don't know, when you win something like that, I don't know. And Postecoglou, him doing well in Europe, but Celtic doing well in Europe is a tall order. So the other thing we were reporting, Xavi Simons he's gonna stick around over at RB Leipzig. Big star over there. I got to see him play against Wiesbaden earlier in the season in the second half. A super talent. Any comment on this? Not super big news.
I think he's a phenomenal footballer, and I think it's quite shocking that PSG don't want him for next season. Really, you got players like you losing Mbappe. you have players like Carlos Soler that play often, and Fabian Ruiz, who haven't been playing nearly as good as Xavi Simons has been. I would be throwing him straight into that starting lineup at PSG. I think he's been one of the best players in Europe this season, attacking wise. I think it's a strange decision to let him go out on loan again, but fantastic for Leipzig if they can keep him around.
Boom.
I'd be interested to see what PSG do from now on. I know obviously we're talking about Xavi Simons, and great footballer, like you said. Like he maybe doesn't fit the system or something like that. Maybe he just wants to run out his contract, going on loan and stuff like that. But I'd be interested to see what PSG do. Obviously losing Mbappe, stuff like that. Like, who are they going to get to replace? Who's the main man up front?
Marseille's going to replace them. That's what I hope. On top of the table.
That's the thing. Like, this silly amount of money kind of coming in, and plus already has silly money anyway. So who's going to be that guy that they get in? I'm interested to see. So next season, we look at them.
All right. This is part of the show where we talk about our personal stuff. Boo's the new guy here. Our personal interests in football. I have never seen Greenlock Morton. I know next to nothing about them. Their second league team. Can you give us a little history or something? That seemed to be what you wanted to talk about.
Okay, Greenlock Morton, second division, championship, Scottish championship, round about mid-table. Kind of happy to kind of go there. Not the biggest budget kind of thing. We seem to just get into a dogfight every time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's such a. I just try and even think about how you even talk.
There's only one promotion spot, if I'm not mistaken, from the Scottish second league, correct?
There's that, and there's a playoff. There's a playoff system as well, so it's like second to fourth.
Okay, so there's two promotion spots. There's two promotion.
Yeah, so spots. Second and third and fourth play each other over two legs, basically, but no away goals kind of thing. Then second plays their winner, and then whoever wins that plays the second last team in the Premier, which actually just happened on Sunday there. It was Ross County and Raith Rovers. Ross County, who was coming down, well, they beat Raith Rovers, so they're staying back up again. So tough luck with Raith Rovers, but the tall order having to go through two games and then have to play those guys. But I want to talk to you is like, I know you says like, let's talk about something that's happened right now. I'm going to talk about this is 10 years actually since one of our biggest results we've ever had, and it might sound a bit sad. So I'll paint you a picture. Scottish Cup, we're at Celtic Park, and we're blessed with this is going down as probably the worst season we've ever had. We finished with 19 points this season. Jeez. We had 80 goals against, 19 for. That's how bad we were. Terrible.
I thought including my team a 10-2
defeat. We got beat 10. Last game of the season, we got beat 10-2 off Hamilton Accies, which isn't even that great of a team. Apologies to the Hamilton fans.
Yeah.
So we rocks up the Celtic Park. There is a team who just beat AC Milan a week prior, and there's a team with Scott Brown, Timo Pukki, and a certain Mr. Virgil van Dijk.
You had Timo Pukki? He plays for Minnesota now. They had Timo Pukki.
Certainly. So those guys on that team, really good players.
Yeah.
Our ragtag bunch of guys. 27 corners, didn't even grace the net. We scored a penalty in extra time, 97 minutes. And it's actually our manager right now is the guy who took that penalty and scored it.
Oh, really?
Celtic, nil. Greenlock Morton 1, and probably the worst season we've ever had, but one of the best results we've ever had.
So a Saarbrücken type season, I guess. Where you run real deep in the Pokal, but you have
it was bad. It was a bad season, but that one result kind of is a highlight. It's funny that that is literally statistically one of the worst seasons Morton's ever had, in terms of results.
Greenlock Morton
Celtic in the cup.
Greenlock Morton ended Pukki time because that's what they call it. That's what they call it in Minnesota, but it's Pukki time. No Pukki time.
Pukki was rotten for Celtic. Let's just say he was rotten. But they did have Van Dijk and stuff like that. It was that was when he was really kicking off and stuff like that. What a player he was.
Well, you have to get. I'd like to see the highlights of that if you send it to me. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'll send you a video. You're going to see a lot of Celtic on the ball. But then you'll see us score the penalty, and I was at the game, and there's no other feeling like it.
Oh, I imagine.
And I want to be call to everyone, go and watch football. Like whenever football kicks off again, go to a game, go to the games. There's no feeling like it. Go to the games. These guys did it. Go support your local
Yeah,
team.
it's I can't
Like,
push that enough. It's fun. I mean, all three of us do it. You know, just check your local. First of all, it's easy to get there because you probably live close. And it'll open up a whole world to see. Do you have anything on the personal side this week or no?
Nah, I think the Chelsea manager stuff was really it, and we've already covered that.
Okay. The Fortuna Düsseldorf, they're up 3 aggregate in Bochum. The first league in the German team, the first team has like a 90% chance of staying in the league. You see, Düsseldorf had a great year. They slowed down towards the end, but they had a great year in the German second Bundesliga. They look like they're about to wrap it up. By the time you see this, this game will be going on right now. I just wanted to point that out. And then just quickly, I'm not going to go into it because I'm probably going to end up making videos about it. From third to second, we got my team, Behan Wiesbaden versus Jan Regensburg. They're tied. It's basically a final. Tomorrow, 8:30, I'll be there. I'll let you know what it's like.
I'm expecting a hype video. Give me another hype video, Tommy.
They actually have a hype video, and I'll put that in the chat just to irritate hentai for life.
We need you. You need to be the face of Wiesbaden.
I was stuffing my face full of hot dog, and they surprised me, and they took a picture of me, and they put that in. I'm embarrassed enough about that. So that's all we got today for you on Glory Hunter. Thanks so much, Magabo. He's a junior Glory Hunter. If you come into the Discord, you make friends and stuff like that. We trust you. We might give you a shot too. But from all of us Glory Hunters, I told you, it took us 2 years, but we're putting out content now. Rant videos, watch-alongs, podcasts. We got it all. We're even making friends over the bar. And if you want to be friends with us too, and you got a channel going on, we'd be happy to do it. These guys had 1,000 subs. They reached out to us, and if you have less than us, we might reach out to you if we like what you're doing. So have a good one, and good night.